It's called a promo,
Shut
kid.
your
And
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it. So go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. Glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon's death.
So where to next? Not a far gap. Once again, we only jumped 2 years over to 2014 episode of SmackDown. Open up with a recap of the Raw beforehand, which was post Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank ladder match and John Cena winning the 8-man ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight title belts. Cena had came out to the Authority being fake and celebrating him, unveiling his WWE 2K15 cover. That was a cool cover.
It was a cool cover.
And Cena knew it was phony. Authority puts him into a fatal 4-way match at Battleground against Orton, Kane, and Roman. They first make a tag match that week. It also sees Seth cash in, but Dean Ambrose stops it. Really short version of what was an insanely long recap to open that episode, too.
Sounds like it, yeah.
It was many, many minutes, and I had to make it as short and sweet as possible. First bit of in-ring action starts. We then get U.S. champion Sheamus out to defend his U.S. title against Alberto Del Fritos. I have to make it funny to talk about the people I don't like.
That's fair.
It's no secret I'm rooting for the Celtic Warrior here.
Of course.
They have a solid match, which isn't that surprising. Sheamus picks up the victory and retains for America. And on behalf of women's rights in America, too, because Del Rio.
Oh, yeah. I was
It's
about to say,
for women's rights,
what's okay. Yeah.
We don't want Del Rio as our U.S. champion if he involves himself with domestic abuse, domestic accuse, because I accuse him of being a domestic abuser.
Ruthless aggression.
That's fair.
Then we go to a rather eccentric backstage segment with Goldust and Stardust. It's too weird to actually elaborate on, but I'm just going to leave it alone and acknowledge it as eccentric. I'm tired of my headphone falling out.
It's fine.
No, I'm annoyed with it. It just keeps on slipping. Next, time to believe.
Let's go.
He faces Diego of Los Matadores and picks up the victory. Then he addresses El Torito after the match. Says he's a bovine, but if he wants to grow tall and big, then he needs to leave. Then he leaves. Then he leaves the arena.
Hey, at least it wasn't Bo Ring.
It was not. I don't think the Bo Dallas character was ever boring at all. So get Chris Jericho on SmackDown to address that last note.
Drink it in, man.
And it's very babyface Y2J electric. Bray Wyatt pops up on the screen during the promo and gives the "Save us, Chris, be a savior" promo. Jericho tells him to come out and fight, but instead we get The Miz giving an interrupting receipt for what Y2J did Monday and ruining The Miz's return. Miz tried to explain what would happen if Jericho hit him in his moneymaker, his face, again, but before he could finish, Jericho gave him a codebreaker to his moneymaker face.
Let's go.
Big E Langston, love that, comes out next to have a match against Cesaro and get revenge for his friend Kofi Kingston, who was attacked by Cesaro after a match Monday, but it turns into a fight instead.
Makes sense.
It makes big sense. Next match comes, and AJ Lee is headed to the ring to face Eva Marie, and Paige is seated ringside here. AJ Lee has recently won her Divas title back from Paige in the Raw before. Just wanting to acknowledge out of this what we already know, women's wrestling would not be what it is today without Paige and AJ Lee. And Emma. You can't forget Emma. She was putting in the work. AJ Lee gets a pretty quick win, and Paige comes in the ring to congratulate her, shake her hand, normal babyface sportsmanship stuff.
Okay.
Confuses AJ a little bit, but...
I mean, it confuses me, too, because I'm used to Paige being,
Damien Sandow comes out next to impersonate Bruce Springsteen, because this was the phase where he just impersonates everyone.
Right.
But he is immediately interrupted by Rusev, who looks ready to fight. Rusev comes in and beats Sandow up, and the crowd chants USA, to which Lana responds, "Shut up." And then she goes on a pro-Russian anti-American rant, not the first one of this episode. Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter come out to interrupt with pro-American stereotypes that aren't actually something we as a country support, but I guess they were just the most American guys we had in the back at the time. I don't know.
They were, I guess.
I don't know. Seth Rollins is down ringside for commentary. We get to our main event. Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton. Great match because everything Dean Ambrose does is passionate magic. Match doesn't get a solid finish because Ambrose attacks Rollins. Rollins attacks Ambrose. Ambrose gets jumped. And then, of course, Roman comes to help him again. And we close this one out. And it's just like a common thing that happened every episode in 2014.
That would make sense.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. Now to a special time travel stop. 1 year over at the Beast in the East special in Japan. And I'm excited to revisit this because I hadn't watched it since it aired. And I remember waking up at 4 a.m. to watch it live and just having a great time. I got a lot of great memories tied to this one personally. So.
Great, I'm excited.
You ever seen the Beast in the East before?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I've heard like highlights from it, but
yeah, it's nothing that somebody would be like, hey, dude, you need to watch this. But if you were up at 4 a.m. July 4th, 2015, then you would have gotten a fun time. Opening contest, we see Chris Jericho coming out with his light-up jacket. Yes. And I remember him getting a lot of criticism at this time on how out of shape he looked. But I hate that fans think it's okay to, like, subject to the point and point out and discuss every flaw in a person. Like,
yeah.
Anyways.
It's terrible.
His opponent, Neville.
Let's go.
Pretty bomb matchup. Despite the criticism he got in it, Jericho wrestles a good match, and Neville, of course, helps achieve that as well. Really solid match. Like a great match, so critics. Jericho wins off a really good finish. I would say like 4-star match at least.
Damn.
Like at least a 4-star match that was. So
you're saying like...
And you want to talk about his stomach?
No. You were saying that... You said this isn't something that people would say you have to go and watch, but then you say that's a 4-star match. Like,
hey, but that's the thing about wrestling post 2014, as I feel like we started to just have 4-star matches, 5-star matches regularly. We get into 16, 17. Now we have to break the scale because there's 7-star matches popping off. It's like,
yeah, I get it.
In some senses, when you've seen so many 5-star matches, why would you suggest the 4-star match?
I guess so, yeah.
I watched a 6.5-star match live. I can't ever suggest anything again.
Now you're stuck.
I'm stuck.
You're spoiled. He's spoiled, guys.
Nothing hits the same anymore. That's not true. Next match, we see Paige versus Tamina versus Nikki Bella, who had been on her record-setting longest Diva title reign. First time women's title had changed hands in Japan was when Bull Nakano beat Alundra Blaze in 94.
Let's go.
Fun fact. History, however, doesn't repeat itself here. Nikki retains after a pretty decent women's triple threat.
Interesting.
Yeah, but just a little fun fact I heard on that event that I wanted to throw in there because it's cool. Shout out Bull Nakano, recent Hall of Famer. Yeah. Then we get to the marquee attraction, but thank God he wasn't the main event. Brock Lesnar goes one-on-one with Kofi Kingston. Charles Robinson rings the bell and Kofi starts running, playing cat and mouse with Lesnar, and Lesnar quickly catches him and takes him to Suplex City, and that was like really popping. That's when we first started just really popping the Suplex City merchandise out. Some Germans, hits the F5, ends the match in like 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes at best. Goes to leave, decides instead to give Kofi another German and another F5. Then Big E and Xavier Woods come out and get F5'd as well.
Get the F out.
Give people what they paid for, right?
Were the New Day heels at this time?
It's hard to remember because I don't think they were anymore, but they might have still been. It's in that weird middle period where it's like everybody hated them, now everybody loves them.
So, damn. I just know that lasting more than 8 seconds is an accomplishment at least.
Next, we get ready for an NXT title match between Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, and we take a look beforehand at Balor's time in Japan and the history he and Kevin Owens have. Gets a good hype build to wanting to watch this match. And honestly, well, I'll get to that later. Sorry, don't let me get ahead of myself. Finn Balor comes out with an insanely cool demon entrance.
Let's go.
Kevin comes out with just a generally shit demeanor. Yep. And Cole even mentions on commentary that Owens spent 2 months in Japan and said he would never come back to this dump. But WWE made him go.
I love that.
So that was the thing here. Bell rings, Prince Devitt, or Finn Balor, my bad, starts going to work, bro. To absolutely nobody's surprise, a banger of an NXT title match ensues. So many good points of fluidity in the match with sort of ebb and flow style of pace changes. You get high octane, quick paced action, but then smooth transitions into slow, technically sound mat wrestling spots. Get some false finish kickouts with accompanying pops. You gotta have those in a good a good match. But then the actual finish is a clean ass sequence. Balor leapfrogs out the pop-up powerbomb, turns around, hits a smooth clothesline, running drop kicks Owens into the corner. You've seen it. You got the mental image now. Spins out through the ropes, goes up top, coup de grace in the 1-2-3. Finn Balor wins the NXT title in Japan. Hell of a great match, and I remember it was like next to 5 or 6 a.m. at this point when I was first watching it. Didn't even feel real. I was like, I thought I was dreaming at that point. I must have fell asleep.
On here?
Before we end, we see Hideo Itami in the crowd and acknowledge that he would be the next challenger for the NXT title. But to be honest, how sick would it have been if he had been in the match? And we had got a banger triple threat, and nobody would have complained with a triple threat for the NXT title with Kenta in there. Also, I find it crazy that Kenta, of all people, is seated ringside in Japan, and nobody's freaking out about it. But it was 2015. A lot of stuff still has to happen in time.
Right.
Balor attempts to shake Kevin's hand after the match, but Kevin certainly declines that.
That makes sense. That's Kevin.
I want to shake her nasty demon hand.
Damn.
2015 King of the Ring winner King Barrett comes out for a tag match. His tag team partner, Corporate Kane. No idea why. Their opponents, Dolph Ziggler and John Cena. Here we go. Fun fact. A little bit of Total Divas tea. During this time, Dolph Ziggler had made a move on and kissed Nikki Bella, and John Cena did not yet know.
Wow.
Dolph threatened he was going to tell John himself after this match, but doesn't. Nikki eventually tells him, and he reacts in the least jealous way possible.
Of course, that's John.
No. Random tag match. I just had to throw the Total Diva tea in there, because like now that once I found that, I was like, wait, that whole time like he was wrestling a tag match with him, doesn't even know that he kissed his girlfriend the day before. Wild. Total Divas, man. That's a guilty pleasure show for sure. Honestly didn't know what other notes to make for this match because while sure it was decent, there's absolutely nothing conducive to anything remotely interesting in 2015 wrestling going on here other than that Total Divas tea. I feel like if you thought Barrett and Kane were winning, congratulations, you played yourself. Here's the kicker. I didn't even realize or remember that this would be the last match of the night, and so it was just this long and boring random tag match, and then now we're closing the event. It should have main evented with Balor winning the NXT title in Japan, without a doubt.
I guess the point is John Cena.
Yeah, but
like, why?
But Balor in Japan. It's like, you don't know the market you're selling to then. Hey, maybe I don't know the market they're selling to. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. But
maybe they're just really big King Barrett fans.
Near maybe even 5-star match. Title changes hands, Japan legend, it all makes a main event worthy sounding pitch, I think.
It does, I think so too, yeah.
Next we will go to probably what could be another choice for favorite for me in this long July 4th show list.
Interesting.
We head over, we're doing a thing now. We're skipping over 1 year at a time for a little bit now. We're going to go year.
Oh,
so, yeah. Just another year over to 2016 where we will dig into one of WWE's funniest mysteries of all time. Probably one of my favorites.
Okay, let's...
If you know, you know. If you don't, you're about to find out. Start the show off backstage at the 4th of July party, and it's a loud and rowdy one. Everybody eating and talking. R-Truth and Goldust doing karaoke. Then the vaudevillains come and ruin it by trying to sing the Bill of Rights. The Miz comes in and tries to attempt stopping what very early seems to be a food fight. And to plug that SmackDown Live is moving to Tuesdays. But he just as the vaudevillains did, they get hit with food and it begins.
Let's go.
The craziest WWE food fight that comes with a conspiracy. Food is flying all about, everybody getting hit, it's chaos, everybody is smiling, though low-key, and laughing. They're not supposed to be smiling and laughing, but they're actually having a lot of fun, you can tell. Even the heels, Miz, are like just having the time of their life. And that, I think as a fan, that makes it more fun, but that's me.
Yeah, I believe.
Jericho stands against the wall trying to eat his cake in peace. Kevin Owens hides under the table. Keep Kevin in mind.
Yeah, I know.
Jericho gets into the fight soon after having to do so, but gets spiked. Bo, sorry, I was like, why is there just a random BO in there? Bo leaves, and Bo Dallas gets the spiked punch dumped on his head, and it burns his eyes. Camera's filthy. Kevin Owens is still under the table eating chips. Big Show hits Heath Slater with a... No, who do you hit? We don't know this name. We got a mystery name.
That's the bigger mystery.
Big Show hits Kane with a rib, and they start choking each other, but Heath hits them both, and this gets him chokeslammed by both big guys.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, Alberto Del Rio never even really gets hit or involved in this food fight because he's a no-fun thought he was too good for the food fight.
Yep.
Everybody begins dumping food and such onto Heath. Everybody starts leaving after this, and I have a close eye on who stays and who has a pie. Nobody's got a pie. Realistically, keep in mind, only wrestler left in the room is Heath Slater. That is a factual thing. He's out on the ground covered in food. So Kevin Owens comes out from under the table, says this would never happen on Canada Day, then gets hit in the face by a pie. I assume it's the cameraman or a producer that does it, but a cameraman can't hold that big of a camera and a pie at the same time and be that accurate. This is one of the most intriguing mysteries in WWE. Kevin Owens has said only this on the subject, and this has only made it more confusing over the years. And I quote, "The only answer I give people is, in the end, even if it wasn't him who physically did it, the one who ultimately threw the pie at me was Vince McMahon, because he's the one who decided that the pie was going to hit me in the face. He wasn't there physically to do it, but he's the one who made it happen," said Owens. It's the only thing that he himself has said on this.
That definitely sounds like a Vince McMahon decision, at least.
At least his decision, but he acknowledges he did not physically throw it. He wasn't there to physically do it. And this, while never having a legit answer to it, has bounced around mostly that it was deemed to be the start of a storyline between Kevin Owens and the Boss that never ended up going anywhere. Road Dogg confirmed at one point on his podcast. He confirmed that was a creative decision that they were trying to push but then scrapped.
Yeah.
Kevin claims Vince did not physically throw it himself, and I have reasons to believe based off my research that I was doing for this episode, and this is the third time I've looked into this conspiracy and I think I got it. The actual culprit was Road Dogg himself. Just really think about it, okay? It seems to be thrown from behind the camera, and the only person who could do that besides the cameraman is executive or producer standing back there. And he's the only executive or producer that's ever come out and said anything on the subject. So I believe, I'm saying it right now on the record, Road Dogg threw the pie at Kevin Owens.
You didn't know?
Now you know. That was clever. Do you agree? Do you feel like I got a good...
I think it's a good...
I got a good theory, guys. I gotta get
you
some
got a good
water.
Austin theory.
I gotta get water. That was a long one.
It was a long one, but I think, based on what I know,
Any
which
cough drops in here?
I think we've gone over this before. I think I would agree with you. Road Dogg.
Oh, you didn't know? That was hilarious. Get to the first bit of in-ring action, and we start off with the United States champion Rusev coming out to face off and defend the title against Titus O'Neil, who comes out, who comes out in an Uncle Sam getup.
Oh my God, let's go.
And this match has so much more substance to it than you would think, or would have expected at least. One of Titus's better matches and highlights, I would say. Now, this, however, does not mean he wins it.
Of course not.
As hard as he fights and shows true American grit, he still falls victim and taps out to Rusev in the finish. Rusev, after the win, puts him back in the camel clutch submission, and then gets on the mic to chant USA and say, "Go ahead and celebrate eating weenies and celebrate for Rusev. Happy birthday, America." Random.
What?
Random. Put the cough drop in.
The only comment I have here is put Titus back in 2K25. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'll go ahead and make the phone call.
Let's go.
Next, we get Social Outcast, Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, and a very beat-up Heath Slater coming out dressed as Minutemen from the early Revolutionary War. But before they can explain why, Enzo comes out and roasts them while also name-dropping all the presidents in order. Social Outcast wrestle Enzo and Cass while also wearing powdered wigs and those heavy-ass, cold, colonial get-ups.
Wow.
Yeah.
But at least you could say they had really good structure.
The powdered wigs don't stay on very long. And the match doesn't go on too long either, as Enzo and Cass squash them in a quick but
I
predictable
just
one.
realized you wouldn't get that reference because you didn't watch.
Nope.
Yeah. But I also want to mention, what is this period, 2016, this feels more PG than anything else before and possibly after. Just a lot of costumes and stuff.
Interesting observation. After that, we hear from WWE Women's Champion Charlotte and her protege Dana Brooke. She talks about how everybody who's ever known her is jealous of her, especially Sasha Banks. Claims that Sasha is all hype as well. To this, Sasha comes out and responds with, "You could never be me and you have never beat me" type shit.
Yep.
More words get exchanged. Charlotte says, based on her status as champion, she's the real legit boss around here.
Okay.
Banks says, nah. Let me tell you what a boss is. And then she gives a passionate speech about what characteristics define a boss. Then they scrap, and Dana is forced to save Charlotte from the Banks statement.
Wow. And now none of them are active in WWE, I will say. Dana is apparently a champion. Not in Impact, though. She has, like, WSW or something.
I didn't know.
Sort of one way.
Okay. Champion versus champion contest slated in the next match slot. Pretty recently crowned WWE champion Dean Ambrose versus Intercontinental champion The Miz. The Miz beforehand, though, has some things to say on the mic. Of course he does. Yeah, of course he does. After the food fight, he's mad about the damage to his expensive suit.
Of course he is.
He wants to dedicate his match victory tonight to his hot French wife, Maurice.
Of course he does.
Ambrose comes out and lets his wrestling do the talking for him. Guys were no strangers to each other in the ring, so of course they put together a really solid match.
Sick.
I wish it could have been a title for title so we could see Ambrose double champion it up, but it's not. We just enjoy a good win by a great champion. I say this because while Ambrose is celebrating his victory, JBL is on commentary ranting and complaining endlessly about it being the worst thing to have somebody like Dean Ambrose as the face of the company.
Damn.
Yeah. It sucked. Ambrose is on the way out as Seth Rollins' music hits, and he's on the way in. They were both involved in like a three-way rivalry that was leading up to 3 members of the Shield fighting for the WWE title at Battleground.
Makes sense.
3 weeks later. Ambrose gives Seth a good game attaboy pat on the ass, then turns around and mean mugs Seth Rollins. Runs back into the ring to make Seth Rollins thinks he wants to fight, but then blows right past him and hops on to the commentary tables. Starting with the Spanish one, where he drops a little bit of broken Spanish, but very much still hilarious.
Of course he does.
It's like, I'm going to go join the Spanish announce team real quick.
Not the faction, the actual announce team.
Dolph Ziggler comes out to face Seth Rollins. Another set of 2 guys who have a lot of history and
Right.
chemistry behind them. Another expectation to see a well put together match, and it meets the expectation more than adequately. Ambrose and JBL arguing on commentary the whole time made it 5 times as fun on top of that. It was at this point I realized that you haven't watched 2016-2017 Raw, and I hope one day we can go back and watch it together. But back to the match for now. Seth Rollins wins after a main event level match is had. Seth gets on the announce desk and speaks into the microphone after the match, boasting about his greatness and then proceeding to trash talk Roman Reigns and say that he doesn't even deserve to be in the triple threat. Ambrose gets tired of listening to all this and hops up on the Spanish announce desk with a mic of his own, but he doesn't say nearly as much as Seth. He mostly just beats him up and gives him the dirty deeds on the desk. Dirty desk deeds.
Let's go.
We get a Wyatt family promo to let us know that the New Day is basically just a false idea that doesn't really exist.
But they exist in my heart.
Then we get a Baron Corbin hype promo package because he's a big deal.
He is. Just look where he is now.
So,
Then we get Vicky Guerrero coming out and saying "excuse me" really loud a bunch, which had been quite some time since her last appearance before them. So people actually reacted positively to this. It was like, holy shit, that's Vicky Guerrero. She walks up to the SmackDown and Raw podiums placed at the stage of the show. The draft is coming up in a few weeks. And says since she was a former GM of Raw and SmackDown, then she should be in charge of the new SmackDown Live show on Tuesday nights. She places her name in the talks for COO of SmackDown Live and encourages everybody to use the hashtag Vicky Runs SmackDown Live. It's a long one.
That is a very long hashtag. It's almost like that's not how hashtags work.
Go backstage and we see Big Show giving a very patriotic pep talk to the other members of his 8-man team for a 16-man Team USA versus Team Multinational Alliance
Okay.
elimination tag team match happening later in the night for America. And it was a pretty damn inspirational speech, if I do say so myself.
Well, he's a good speaker.
Also, backstage, we catch back up with Vicky Guerrero, who is being escorted out of the building by security when they run into her old companion, Dolph Ziggler. That's what I was talking about.
No.
She begs him to vouch for her because of their history, but he tells them he's never seen her before in his life.
Let's go.
Then he gets on the phone with his mom and says, "Yeah, I lost again, but I tried really hard. It was close."
Wait. Was this a recurring thing at this point, or was he just...
I think it was just a funny little tidbit of like, I'm unhappy here. Back to ringside, we see Tyler Breeze and Fandango seated by commentary and set up in style at that. Golden Truth come out to face the Vaudevillains and some tag action. Matches set up based off of how the food fight started. The match could only be so good though. Golden Truth won pretty quickly. And
Wow.
Breeze and Fandango being out there had no context otherwise. They just were there and they looked pretty.
I mean, that's kind of...
They're like, sit here and look pretty.
That's sort of their character, but they have better parts too.
We get next to a quick segment of life lessons with Bob Backlund, which was a storyline at the time that saw Bob Backlund being a life coach for Darren Young. Easily forgettable thing that happened. Slogan, make Darren Young great again.
What?
Don't ask me.
So,
When was Darren Young great? Don't ask me. Don't ask me.
ruthless
Okay.
Alright, next up. We get John Cena coming out to address AJ Styles in the club, who had been beating him up as of late. This is one of my favorite things the club have done. And he addresses in John Cena fashion with the passionate, heartfelt warrior speech and "you want some, come get some." AJ and the club come out and let John Cena know he's not being patriotic, he's being pathetic. AJ says he's the new face of WWE, but he can't be that until he gets rid of John Cena. And also that the club enjoy beating John Cena up as much as he does, or almost as much. He points out that nobody in any of this has ever come out to help him, and that's because he puts himself on that island by himself that nobody cares to relate to.
Fair.
Says every week he comes to work, they're going to beat him up.
Yep.
Nothing is more fun to them than beating up John Cena every week. AJ asks Carl Anderson what he's doing for Labor Day. He says beating up John Cena. Asks Gallows what he's doing for Halloween, and he says he's going to dress up like Bushwhacker Luke and beat up John Cena. Christmas, beating up John Cena. And then they acknowledge that today is a huge holiday and they should be beating up John Cena. They head to the ring to do so, and Cena is ready to go, as always. These colors don't run whether you see them or not.
Okay.
They beat up John Cena, and they beat him up a bunch, a long time. They beat him up, they punch him in the head, and then Enzo and Cass, of all two people, come to the rescue. America, how you doing?
Let's go.
How you doing, America? Next match, Becky Lynch versus Summer Rae. Not a great match, not a long match. Becky gets the win. We go backstage.
Okay, then.
We gotta move that one. We go backstage. Chris Jericho is giving Team Multinational Alliance a pep talk of their own, and it's pretty decent, but then Alberto interjects and asks who made Jericho captain. That whole stupid thing. And it forces the team to erupt into a trilingual argument involving the languages of Spanish, Celtic, I believe, maybe, or Irish Gibbs slang, and also French. Needless to say, only a few of them are on the same page, specifically Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Sin Cara, and Kalisto, who want to show everybody that America is about diversity and friendship. Then they break out saying amigos, and away we go.
Amigos, away we go.
Hey, we gotta agree to something. We're all amigos. We're all American amigos.
So would you say that they were all in the learning tree?
Yep.
Wow. Sami Zayn was in the learning tree. Let's acknowledge this right now.
New Day comes out next and cuts a promo in response to the Wyatt's video from earlier, saying basically that there's rumors that the Wyatt family are all inbreds, but that the New Day, would never spread those kind of rumors. That the Wyatt family can eat bootios, But they also acknowledge that Eric Rowan does not eat bootias, so I don't really understand.
What?
Wyatt's come on the screen and interrupt with some dark Game of Thrones shit, saying the positive must have a negative and that there must be a gruesome, no-nonsense battle of good and evil, so all your jokes and shit. New Day cracks some more jokes and say they're going to show up at the Wyatt compound and kick booty and spread positivity, but Xavier Woods doesn't have jokes. In fact, he interrupts the jokes to get serious and say that the Wyatts are dangerous and to be feared, that this is all a terrible idea and no longer fun and games. He exits off the statement that if they can't get serious, the New Day won't survive.
And then he joined Karrion Kross.
It's like they really had us thinking Xavier Woods was about to turn on the New Day. I thought the Wyatts had him hooked. I thought
So wait, you're telling me this whole storyline they have going right now with the New Day is literally the same as that storyline?
I don't know what they have going on right now. I'm in 2016.
Oh.
You have to understand, and it's like everybody else has to understand, I have not watched current wrestling in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks going on now.
I feel like it's been happening.
I don't know what's going on.
The New Day are feuding with Karrion Kross and his group.
Ah. That's not in 2016, my guy. I'm in 2016.
Okay.
We finally make it to the big 16-man elimination tag match, and representing the multinational alliance team, we have Cesaro, Alberto, Sin Cara, Kalisto, Sheamus, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Sami Zayn. For Team USA, we have Big Show, Apollo Crews, Zack Ryder, the Dudley Boys, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, and Kane. Don't ask why Kane. Sin Cara, sadly, is the first to be eliminated, but hilariously enough, just seconds after, Bubba Ray gets eliminated as well.
Go.
Devon gets eliminated by Cesaro not long after, and then we get a face-off with Cesaro and Jack Swagger that gets us a We the People pop before they beat each other up.
Let's go.
Jack Swagger gets eliminated by Chris Jericho after a little bit of time goes by. This was way before he gave him that hat that he liked. So, Mark Henry comes in and eliminates Kalisto. Okay. Kevin Owens comes in and gives Mark Henry a pop-up powerbomb and eliminates him. Yes, I said that sentence right. He powerbombed Mark Henry.
Holy
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get mad at each other as normal and start fighting in the ring mid-match, and it culminates into Kevin Owens hitting Sami with a chair before he can get chokeslammed by Kane, which gets him DQ'd and eliminated. Kevin hits Kane with a chair as well out of anger, which makes Kane so mad he hits Kevin Owens with that same chair and gets himself disqualified.
Okay.
Sammy still gets chokeslammed.
Damn.
Poor guy. And Apollo Crews comes in and takes advantage by pinning and eliminating Sami Zayn.
Wow.
But then immediately thereafter, Sheamus came in and eliminated Crews. Like, immediately after. Down to only Big Show and Zack Ryder for Team USA. If you got a mental picture, the eliminations happen like that.
Wow.
It really was. If you think it just feels like that because I'm reading it, no, that's how the match felt too.
Okay.
But as the match continues on, we see a bit of implosion with Team Multinational Alliance, and it results to them all fighting and Cesaro uppercutting the other members of his team.
That makes sense.
He then gets rolled up and quickly eliminated by Zack Ryder.
Woo, woo, woo.
Big Show gets a hot tag into the ring for the first time in the match.
Wow.
It's the first time we see Big Show get in the match. And gets a knockout punch on Jericho to eliminate him.
Not the disbanding of Jericho.
A chokeslam to Del Rio gets him eliminated out.
Good.
All that was left was Sheamus and his mohawk at that point. Zack Ryder hits him with the Rough Rider, and Team USA get the win for America. That one's for America, for sure. We hang a ginormous flag from the rafters and pop a shitload of fireworks as Raw goes off the air. No doubt a really fun Raw. So, now, hop another year, my guy, because SmackDown is on Tuesday nights. It's 2017. So
let's go.
2017 SmackDown, away we go. Open the show with a return appearance from John Cena.
Of course.
For America. He hops on the mic and says he is fired up because today is their Independence Day. And does the American Patriot thing he does like so often before. I don't know how many times I've got to say this during the July 4th episode. John Cena, America. That's it.
Yep.
Then he addresses the people in the locker room talking about how he's gone Hollywood or he's nothing more than a part-timing mascot. He says he's not a part-timer, he's an all-timer. Calls out the whole roster of hot superstars to step up to his level like Shinsuke, AJ, Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, all the like, etc. that. Cena just gets more and more passionate, patriotic, proud, and profoundly fired up. Rusev
Damn.
finally comes out and complains that Cena isn't worth the time and energy and build-up they put on to him coming here. Says the American dream is a lie and America is a joke, and that's just not the move on Independence Day. John Cena wants to fight him for this, but Rusev says he can't just be bossed around by Americans.
Damn.
John Cena suggests then that they both hang their country's flags on opposite corners of the ring and have a flag match.
Oh my god.
Rusev says yes, but no, not today. They fight on his terms when he says. Rusev leaves to USA chants, and I'm just like, wait, for real, no flag match?
You set it up and you didn't deliver. What the f?
Get it at Battleground 3 weeks later. We get the flag match at Battleground.
When it's long past its prime. Like,
Go backstage to General Manager Daniel Bryan's office, and he calls Chad Gable and AJ Styles into his office. He informs them that they will have a win-and-you're-in match where the winner gets the last spot into the Independence Day Battle Royal. They both accept, and Daniel tells them the match is up next.
wait, so that Battle Royal is happening the same day too, right?
Yes.
So they have to do this match and then... Okay.
Yes,
sure.
sir. We get straight to it. AJ Styles makes his entrance, as does long-haired Gable. They then proceed to put on a fundamental clinic of a wrestling match.
Oh, yeah.
Solid back-and-forth match, and AJ wins off a phenomenal forearm, but Gable gave him a run for his money. And AJ limps off going into the Independence Day Battle Royal later on.
Let's go.
Go backstage again to see Mojo Rawley getting out his hype bro shirt, but not at all seeming that hyped. And it's because they were slowly breaking apart and had just lost the week before that to the Usos.
Damn.
Zack Ryder comes in and tells him he's gotten them both entered into the Battle Royal and that this somewhat hypes Mojo up, but something still seems afoot with him.
He's fine.
He's got a foot. Carmella and James Ellsworth come out to have a celebration for her recent 2 Money in the Bank wins and becoming the first and second ever Miss Money in the Bank. First and second Miss Money in the Bank.
Wow, okay.
She gets on the mic and boasts and brags, but gets interrupted by SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi and her glowing title.
Let's go.
She congratulates her and lets her know she's not shook by her Money in the Bank contract. Sorry, I'm choking on my cough drop. Let me spit it out.
It's fine.
It's me up. It's not fine. I'm mad about it. I'm like, this cough drop is
There's a
ruining
lot of
my
other
life.
things to be mad about.
This cough drop has ruined my life.
Damn. Fight it.
Alright. She congratulates her and lets her know she's not shook by her Money in the Bank contract. I had to redeem myself. She's always ready. And as for Ellsworth, Daniel Bryan has some words for him. Bryan comes out, and his words involve barring James from the building, fining him $10,000, and suspending him 30 days without pay.
Let's go.
If he doesn't follow any of the rules, Carmella will be stripped of her briefcase and contract. So Carmella makes Ellsworth leave immediately.
Hell yeah, I would have too.
She's like, get the out of here.
Get the F
Naomi
out.
stays out for her defense against Lana,
Oh my God.
who had finessed her way into a title match without the permission of creative. And no, that's not the storyline. She really did go into business for herself, and they were forced to give her the match, and she got in trouble for doing so, which is probably why she just eats another loss to Naomi. But surprisingly, puts on a good match in doing so.
Okay, well,
Should you or should you not go into business for yourself? It varies sometimes.
yeah, I guess so. I didn't expect it to be good, so.
Go backstage to Shinsuke getting interviewed, and he immediately gets attacked from behind by Baron Corbin.
That makes sense.
Corbin. We get the announcement that the flag match will happen at Battleground at that point.
And you announced it
I didn't
that
know if I
day,
wrote
too.
it or not.
Why would you...
Back to the ring. Wale is in there ready to host a rap
my
battle
God.
between the Usos and the New Day.
Oh my God.
Big E starts with Big E starts with some solid punchlines. Usos doubled down on it, but didn't drop as much heat at first. Then they dropped the deepest cut punchline that takes the whole cake. When Jay said, "Big E, let's just keep it PG. You know what's good. Just don't make us go and get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods."
At the time, yeah.
Which was a dig at the leaked sex tape of him, Paige, and Brad Maddox. Kofi comes in and doesn't drop much fire at all, kind of corny lines, and we're all still stuck on the rated R line at that point. Usos clap back again, and it's longer than it needs to be. Xavier Woods comes in and drops some dope bars to pick the energy back up. Usos try start a fight, but Wale actually puts a stop to it and disqualifies the Usos. Awards the win to the New Day, but I still feel like a sudden death round between Woods and Jey Uso was supposed to be had.
I think
it was
so.
needed.
We,
And they could have ran that back at another time years later and been like, settle it now.
they could have.
They didn't. Next, we have Aiden English singing in the ring, but only getting 2 lines in before Randy Orton's music hits to interrupt him. Aiden English doesn't like this and interrupts Orton's entrance as he's posing, asking if he's finished. You don't interrupt Orton's pose.
Yeah, you don't interrupt the pose.
Then he attacks Orton and attempts to go back in the ring and finish his song. Goes to commercial and come back, and Randy is getting the upper hand in the match, so imagine he got his receipt. He then takes Aiden outside and starts beating the shit out of him.
Damn.
Like beating him up badly and slamming around on everything in sight.
Okay, let's go.
Orton gets disqualified after he hits Aiden with the stairs. He brings Aiden in the ring to RKO him and then goes about posing. But then, WWE Champion Jinder Mahal comes out and talks about how America's the land of the prejudice. Do with that what you will. And if he could, he would put us all in the Punjabi prison, which is what him and Orton were building towards. Put me in the Punjabi prison.
Damn, I mean, if you put us all in there, we're going to beat you. There's a lot of us.
Maybe. Probably.
Or when we start fighting each other, I don't know.
Take a quick trip backstage to catch Ty Dillinger walking, and he's stopped by Tyler Breeze in disguise as Tenay Young with Fandango in disguise in the background. Tenay asks Ty for his Battle Royal strategy, and he lays out a pretty basic one, but poses the question, what will Breezango do as a team if they have to face each other? Fandango, after Ty leaves, lets Tyler know that if that's the case, they will just go to blows for America and then get mani-pedis afterwards. I'm not the only one to say for America in this episode.
He actually said for America.
Yeah, he did say they're going to go to blows for America.
That's a perfect 10.
It's 10 out of 10. It's a perfect 10. Then we go to Renee Young, who interviews super love couple Maria and Mike Kanellis. But the interview gets interrupted by Sami Zayn stretching and knocking stuff over. He apologizes and then rambles for too long until his music hits and he's got to run. And that was kind of the thing. He was like, talk someone's ear off and then got to go before they could like get mad at him.
Okay.
That's really hilarious.
Still better than what Mike and Maria ended up doing later.
Annoying babyface Sami Zayn. That's how it immediately turned to conspiracy theorists. Heel Zayn. Alright, so Sami Zayn comes out first for the Independence Day Battle Royal that we keep mentioning. We go to commercial and come back while the ring continues filling up, but the face of America, Kevin Owens, has come out for commentary, which that part makes it really entertaining. Dolph Ziggler is the first one eliminated.
What?
Big surprise there at the time. Go to commercial and come back to Fandango being eliminated, but saving Tyler Breeze from the same elimination at first. He rolls back in just to get eliminated anyways.
Of course.
Sin Cara gets eliminated, and all these guys are being thrown out by Eric Rowan.
That makes sense.
Notice at this point that at that point when we see Sin Cara get eliminated, I don't see Jason Jordan anymore. So I guess during commercial he got eliminated. And then Connor gets eliminated by Mojo Rawley. Point, where did Victor go? Lost Victor. He must have got thrown out sometime. Mojo also eliminates Luke Harper seconds after he dumped out Connor. Mojo and Ryder eliminate Eric Rowan. Then Mojo Rawley immediately throws out Zack Ryder. And then Zack Ryder's like, woo, 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 what the bro? Sami Zayn eliminates Mojo with a haluva kick. Down to Sammy, AJ, and Dillinger in our final 3. Ty Dillinger tries his absolute hardest to eliminate AJ and Sammy, but Sammy gets him out. Sammy and AJ fight for it, and AJ Styles gets the win. But as soon as he does, Kevin Owens attacks him.
Of course.
This time period, I've gone on the record to say it was the last time I was 100% invested in the U.S. title picture.
That's fair, and we're not going to mention his name, but you. You're probably going to have to blur that.
It's like, I don't even know. Oh, I do know who we're talking. I had to think for a second. Man, it's been a long episode. So that was a fun one. We're just going to keep ear hopping one more over for our next one, if you can handle that. We go to 2018 NXT. You ready? It's the longest episode we've done. I got to make sure you're ready for this.
Oh, I'm still here, I think.
Oh,
you. Just replay the intro.
Open the show with women's action. Dakota Kai versus Santana Garrett.
Wow.
It's a good technical match that Dakota still gets a dominant win in, proving that you can make your opponent look good while also being a top talent.
So I think, was I watching at this point?
I feel like it would have been like you just started watching, but maybe you just missed it. I don't know.
I think I just missed it.
With NXT, you got to ask yourself, where was I when the Undisputed Era ran this place? That's the bridge.
I remember seeing them run the place for sure.
Next, we hear from NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler about her dominance and how nobody can take the title off her. And Shayna walks off from this promo without a single person coming out to interrupt her or tell her different.
She was a badass.
Not one dispute to the statements she said that nobody can take her out. So, and we know how that'll go later on, but that's not today. Go backstage to Danny Burch, who is going to address the injury of his tag partner, Oni Lorcan, at NXT TakeOver Chicago and their loss to the Undisputed Era. But the interview is interrupted by the Undisputed Era. They just come by to insult him and call him a loser. Danny Boy challenges Adam Cole to a match next week, and he laughs in acceptance.
Why would you do that, Danny?
Yeah, he accepts out in laughter, like, come on, dude. I'm Adam Cole, baby. We take a look back at the rivalry seeds planted between Ciampa and NXT champion Aleister Black, and I wish I could say they were having an NXT title match tonight, but that wasn't the case for many more weeks.
Damn.
I wanted that match to happen right then, right there. The match we do get is the Mighty versus Otis in a handicap match because the Mighty took out Tucky in the weight room. Otis comes out and kicks ass, but eventually the numbers game catches him, and he takes the loss to the Mighty.
Okay. Question: who are the Mighty?
I don't have their names on tab. I vaguely remembered them when I watched it. I was like, I don't remember their names. And look them up because I know at least one of them. You've watched them wrestle as a singles competitor, but I'm not gonna try to remember their names. I'll blow over this real quick. Next we get Chris Dijak versus Patrick Clark, and I'm skipping over that one. I just wanted to say Chris Dijak one time, and then...
Chris Dijak, wow. Okay.
I didn't even say Velveteen Dream. I said Patrick Clark.
Wait,
it's not even a character to me anymore.
Oh, well. Wait, so he wasn't actually called Chris Dijak at that? He was Dominic Dijakovic, wasn't he?
At this point in time, his name was Chris Dijak.
Wow. Yeah. So that was just before... Because I believe, like, the next year he became Dijakovic.
Dang.
That's crazy, alright.
Damn, Jakovic. Before we get to the main event, we hear from Mustache Mountain addressing the Undisputed Era and basically saying they beat them clean once. No doubt they'll do it again next week, clean as a whistle. No nonsense.
Damn.
Mustache Mountain for you.
Love them.
Can't wait to see the Mighty. It's pulling up the Mighty.
That's not the... That's the Mighty Don't Kneel. What do I do? The Mighty NXT? Is that gonna help me?
The Mighty Don't Kneel are the Mighty. They just called them the Mighty at this point.
Wait, so it's the Mighty...
They literally...
TMDK? It's only just TMDK. Okay, well then that would be Shane Haste and...
Okay. Because the familiarity in the face was there, but I could not put my thumb on it. And I was like, I've seen him before. I ain't going to see him again. I see him 100 times again.
I just forgot the other one's name. But...
Okay. We're in 2018 anyway. Main event, we get EC3 versus Johnny Gargano.
Okay.
And that holds some decent potential. But decent is an understatement for what they put together in this match. An intense back and forth nail biter, and throughout this whole match, we see Johnny Gargano slowly continue to lose it until eventually he just snaps.
Let's go.
He seemingly becomes what he hates and becoming just like Tommaso Ciampa and decimates EC3 in the same way for America. For America.
Let's go.
Heel Johnny. So now we can finally stop bouncing year to year for a minute and kind of time travel a little further forward, about 4 years, to a 2022 episode of Monday Night Raw.
So I would have watched this.
Yeah. These next two, you definitely watched. The last one, it's going to blow by pretty fast, but it's going to be probably your favorite because it's your house. So we're going to your house. Before we get there, 2022 Raw, we open up with the new United States Champion, Bobby Lashley, who's happy and hyped up to start Raw on this Independence Day for America. He lets everyone know what kind of champion he is, and that's a fighting one, and says there's not a single man in the locker room or in any promotion that can beat him for that U.S. title, and we all took this like pretty hard. We're like, what does he mean any other promotion? Is this some sort of slander? he gets interrupted by Money in the Bank winner Austin Theory, who questions why Bobby Lashley gets to kick off Raw when he's so much cooler and better. Bobby threatens to show him why and calls him a jackass. Austin Theory informs Bobby that he was told just today that at SummerSlam he's going to be getting the opportunity to win back his U.S. title. So he also says he's going to cash in on either Brock or Roman after the main event of SummerSlam for the Universal title and walk out with the U.S. title and Universal title belt.
Oh my god.
Austin Theory then tricks Lashley with a cheap shot and attacks, but it backfires on him and Lashley plants him.
Oh, delusional Theory.
What happened to that guy? We go backstage to Rey Mysterio and super babyface Dominic Mysterio.
Damn.
They address the Judgment Day, and Dominic says Finn Balor is wrong. There's nobody he'd rather learn from than his dad. The irony in this is so fun.
Oh my god.
Rey Mysterio gets fired up to fight Judgment Day in his hometown of San Diego. And he and Dom get a solid pop from the 619 crowd as they come out for their match against the Judgment Day. But as the Judgment Day's entrance music hits, Finn and Damian sneak up from behind and attack Rey and Dom. Match gets underway and Judgment Day have the strong upper hand, but of course it turns into a more solid tag match as it goes on. Rey and Dom get close to the win, and amidst the crazy finish, Damian slides a chair to Finn Balor. Rey Mysterio plays the Eddie Guerrero spot and fakes getting hit by the Judgment
remember
Day.
this so well now.
Disqualifies them. Crowd pops massively for this spot.
I remember that so. It was so great.
The pop for cheating is insane. One guy made cheating so cool. AJ Styles comes out to have a match against The Miz, but before we get to the match, we look at the Street Profits 4th of July barbecue from earlier in the day, where the Alpha Academy had tried to ruin the party but got slapped with a glizzy instead, and it actually turns into a hot dog contest
Because of
challenge.
course it does.
I don't know if I have it in the note or not. I probably didn't write it down, but neither man wins that hot dog eating contest.
Yep.
Tozawa wins
It's
it by a
Tozawa.
landslide. By a landslide he wins
Yep.
it. Like, yeah, he ate like 40-something hot dogs. What the Where did he put them? We see the Mysterios backstage, happily walking back to the locker room, but then they get jumped by the Judgment Day.
As we all do.
Dude, they did not like Dominic Mysterio. Now we finally get to The Miz versus AJ Styles, who had been waiting in the ring that entire time that
Yep.
stuff was happening.
Yep.
The
I
whole
remember that.
4th of July party, the jumping, and AJ Styles is just, I don't
Chilling.
want none. I don't want none. Okay, now I want some. It's all dark and quiet. You're just like watching the screen like everybody else.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, they have an okay match, and AJ Styles gets the victory to no surprise. But what was the surprise was after the
Yep.
match was over, we see Tommaso Ciampa come out and attack AJ Styles, which he had been doing, but it still surprised me when it happened. I was like, oh, what the f-? I don't know. I guess I just forgot.
Ciampa was Mrs. Minion?
That's weird.
Yeah.
I can't. It's cringeworthy. Newly crowned SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan comes out to a raucous crowd after having just cashed in Money in the Bank on
That's
Ronda Rousey.
right.
Hella, you deserve it, chance. Lots of tears of joy. She thanks all the people. Natalia comes out and tells Liv that the only
Yeah, of
person
course.
she should be thanking is her for taking Ronda Rousey to the limit and making it possible for Liv Morgan to cash in. Then Carmella comes out and tells them both that this is Raw and to take the SmackDown Women's Championship business back over to SmackDown. I agree.
Yeah.
Do this on Friday, not on Monday. Liv tells her to make her get out. Well, then Natty and Carmella start jumping Liv. Why Natty was on Carmella's side, I couldn't tell you. Bianca Belair comes to her rescue. Adam Pearce comes out, gives them all a tag match on the spot. It's a good old Teddy tag match. If you're confused as a general manager what to do with 4 superstars disgruntled, tag match. If they don't all get along, or if it's just one person, Undertaker.
Holla.
Problems are solved.
Holla, holla.
Holla, holla, holla. Okay. So, impromptu tag match with Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions Bianca and Liv facing off against Carmella and Natalia. Decent enough, yeah. For America, we had a decent enough tag match. Champions get the win.
Of course they do.
I mean, it's July 4th. Why would you not have the red and the blue titles together? And it's just,
I mean, I guess that makes sense when you think about it, yeah.
I feel like it's a reach, but part of me just feels like there had to be some sort of like American symbolism to having the red, white, and blue straps pictured at the end of them winning. I don't know. Felt like there was some sort of hidden innuendo there, but maybe I'm reaching.
Maybe you are.
Head back to the barbecue, and there's a lot happening, but more specifically, we see Ezekiel accidentally squirt ketchup on Seth Rollins' fancy shirt.
Oh my God,
This-
Ezekiel.
This would add context to the next upcoming match, Rollins versus Ezekiel, which would also happen to just be a really solid match.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a surprise when talking about any Seth Rollins match.
That's fair.
Back and forth, of course. Rollins gets the win, though. Blow this one up here. Bobby Lashley comes out next as he teams up with the Street Profits for the first time ever. Certainly not the last, but this was the first time they teamed up together.
Wow.
It was a random tag match. They face Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy, which at the time was just Gable and Otis. Six-man tag match, one that is decent in its own right, but nothing insanely special to tell your grandma about.
That's fair. She's dead.
Oh, rest in peace. Love you, Grandma. Lashley spears Gable and gets the win, and Otis vomits all over the place.
Oh my God, I forgot he did that.
Throws up everywhere.
Thanks, Vince. Love that.
R-Truth comes out dressed as Uncle Sam and gets the crowd all kinds of hyped up to celebrate Independence Day, the day Will Smith and company saved us all from aliens in 1996. Ludwig Kaiser interrupts and introduces Intercontinental Champion Gunther out into the arena to have a match with Uncle Sam R-Truth.
Remember this?
It was about how you'd expect it to.
Yep.
For our main event, we get a no-holds-barred match between Becky Lynch and Asuka for America.
Neither American.
And the match goes hard all over the place from start to finish. Becky
Oh, yeah.
Lynch picks a well-earned victory over Asuka, man. Also, there's a spot in there that everybody talked about over the internet where Asuka does the okay check, but just gropes Becky Lynch's breast.
What?
You haven't
I
seen
did.
that?
I
It
never.
went crazy on the internet. As soon as she gets the pin after the table spot, Asuka reaches around, does like the wrestler thing to be like, I'm okay, grab, but she literally just grabs her boob and squeezes twice. I knew she was copping a feel
Damn.
for America. Now, we could end here. 2 hours of episode, it's the longest episode. We could end
My
here.
God.
But nah. We're going to skip over one more year and end on 2023 NXT 1 year ago. A solid NXT time to close out our last
go.
show. And then after that, I'll hit you with, like, the fun facts
Yeah.
like we did last time. But those take, 2 minutes. Okay, so we start off the show with Blair Davenport making her entrance, but not getting too far into it before getting attacked
Right.
from behind by Roxanne Perez. They fight hard and heavy early and get into the ring to start the match officially. Have a really good match for the 4th of July opener. We see Blair take Roxanne out by the stairs and get 2 Falcon Arrows in the ring for the win.
Hell yeah. I think they have really
Fun
good
finish.
chemistry.
Yeah. And see, I haven't watched NXT in so long. I'm like, what are they doing with Tatum Pax who posts that TNA thing? You'll have to tell me at a later time.
Yeah.
We see a video package for Corbin who's tired of being a loser and is throwing relics from all his old gimmicks in the fireplace. Burn all the ships is the new gimmick.
I mean, it does.
He said no gimmicks.
It still
Burn the
doesn't
gimmicks.
really make sense because that still didn't get him over. What got him over was having a gimmick of just being, I don't know, entertaining.
You know what would have made hilarious content? If you had just let me drink that cold coffee with a cough drop spit in it. That would have been hilarious. That would have
I
been...
will,
Next match, we get Mustafa Ali facing off against Tyler Bate. And
Oh, wow.
do you even need me to tell you how technically sound of a match this was? You kind of could expect, but for those who don't just assume or are skeptical, they certainly have a solid match as technically sound as watching Dean Malenko versus Chris Benoit or Danielson and Steamboat, the dream match for people like me.
right. This is. Sorry.
No, you're
No,
good.
go ahead. I have something to say afterwards.
This match, Mustafa Ali versus Tyler Bate, may not have been a fantasy match unless you're a hardcore Bate mark, but it was a main event level match. Mustafa Ali gets the win after a good one, and after the match talks to the camera and says he wants to challenge for the North American title at the Great American Bash.
Which, if I remember correctly, never happens because he gets released.
There's your fun fact, guys.
I think that's the. I need to look this up now.
No, I
because
thought that was just the timeline too, because Great American Bash was the show here in Austin at this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you got your timeline right. You're the NXT guy too, so I trust you.
If so, that's incredibly ironic on so many levels.
You look that up. I'm going to breeze the next match. We get Tatum Paxley versus Kalani Jordan, and it's good enough in its own right, but definitely not the same caliber as Bate versus Ali. Still, though, good enough in its own right. Kalani gets the win, and after the match, Cora Jade comes out to congratulate her on her first victory, but she is not actually happy for her. She just wants to steal her spotlight. Kalani tells her that she has another match left in her and will fight her right now, but Cora hits her with the "don't tell me what to do" and heads back.
And now Kalani's a champion, and Tatum's in
First ever
going around
women's
TNA?
North American champion.
And Cora's moving on.
We go from there back to the Chase U segment, and Andre Chase returns from a leave of absence to thank MVP Duke Hudson for stepping up while he was away. They then address how stupid Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey are and how Mr. Chase and Duke are going to kick their asses. Another really hyped up Chase U segment for the books there. How's your research going?
So the Great American Bash turned into a triple threat between Wesley and Dominic and Ali.
Oh, okay. He did wrestle on Great American Bash. Okay.
Think so?
You're allowed, you don't have to be right
I
every
don't.
time.
Well, I don't know if this actually happened or if.
Of course, there's always a person in the comments like, no, it happened on this day, and you're fired. They're going to cancel you for not knowing when Mustafa Ali was unreasonably fired from his job, or just released. Released, fired, like, I feel like fired just sounds kind of mean, but it is mean to release somebody.
Both. Both. Okay, you can keep going.
Alright, I got you. Now back to some good old in-ring action. We have an NXT Underground match between Eddie Thorpe, who is accompanied by an Olympian who will not be named, and Damon Kemp as the opponent. Match filled with some hard and heavy action and great spots. Eddie Thorpe gets the win by knockout after a brutal fight. Even if he didn't get the win by knockout, he's going to win by submission. He had him in the triangle hold pretty deep. I was really happy with this match. This was the first I'd ever watched this match.
Right.
And again, because I had skepticism at the time about them using the Underground match.
It was really good, and I think it set a precedence not only for NXT Underground, but Thorpe as a competitor that you could throw into those matches because he would go on to have another one against.
Yeah, that one. Even better.
So, I mean, it was really good in different levels. I believe, so the Great American Bash was when Tyler Bate faced Wesley. Ali was the referee. So that was the start of that storyline. It would be about not even a month later when they would eventually get to Ali having that one-on-one match and then getting it pulled out from under him.
Okay. We get a segment that sees the Don, Tony D'Angelo, getting visitation from Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and he informs the Don that he's cut a deal with Gallus that will see him and Joe Coffey having a match next week. Oh, it spell checked me on coffee. That's not how you spell coffee.
That's the joke they make every time on the commentary, though.
If the underboss wins, all the Don's charges get dropped. But if Joe wins, then the Don is stuck in jail until his trial. No bail.
I remember this was a really good storyline because there was a little bit of doubt on like if Stacks was actually going to turn on Tony or not.
Oh, juicy. I didn't know that. More in-ring action. We see JC Jane facing one of my favorite gals, Lyra Valkyria, and they put together a really clean match. Hold up the NXT standard for having quality matches all down the card on this episode. Lyra gets a win out of it, but also gets attacked by her opponent, JC Jane, after the match, which is not cool.
It's not cool, but also not cool that
it's replaced it to Jack Jane.
Let's
Good
go.
old Jack Jane. Jack Jane, Jimmy John, Johnson, Jeff Jarrett.
What?
Jack Jane Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Noam Dar gives a passionate and heartfelt crying speech towards a picture of the Heritage
Oh
Cup
my
trophy.
God.
He misses it, can't live without it, needs it in his life. Honestly, bro, I miss him with it. I miss him with it too.
I mean, Tony has been putting together. I mean, you'll see.
I think Charlie Dempsey was a great choice to put it on. I honestly, I don't know how I feel about the Don having it. The one match with Damon Kemp is all I have to go off of. It was a good match, but that's all I've seen.
He has another defense that you'll see that is also just as good. Tony has been proving that he held that cup with really high regard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone expected that of him because
I mean, I thought it was a better choice than having him be the NXT champion.
That's fair, but it's been going good so far, I think.
Yeah, I just have to see more of it past just him wrestling Damon Kemp one time. Next, We get a loser leaves NXT match. The Dyad versus the Creed brothers, and the action gets started before the bell can even ring. Joe Gacy gets ejected from ringside early, but not Ava. Fun fact, I didn't even know Ava was part of this.
You didn't?
No, you hadn't gotten me into it yet. They all collectively put together an intense, solid tag team match filled with suspense and emotion.
Yes.
Absolute passion put into this tag match.
So good.
For America. We get to the finish. Ava and Ivy get into a squabble in the ring, and it distracts the ref. A mystery schism follower, schism, I can never say
schism.
it. It's the way the partial in my mouth makes my tongue slide. Comes out and headbutts Julius Creed. Dyad capitalize and get the shocking win over the Creed brothers, who now must leave. We don't even get a reveal who the mystery masked assailant was right here. Do we find out later on who it was? Because I couldn't go find out. I had this work to do. Who was that person?
I don't think they ever revealed it, but I will say this was funny because at the time, I believe this was when the Dyad hadn't re-signed, but they were deciding not to re-sign, and so we thought they were going to lose this match.
Creatively, it makes it. Damn. Braun Breaker comes out to the ring after the Creeds say their goodbyes to the NXT crowd and tells us why he's so great and ahead of his time, and addresses what's next for him. But before he can tell us what's next, Ilya Dragunov comes out to tell him that he is next because Braun Breaker is the only man ahead of him in the line for number one contender to the NXT title. They then proceed to get into a brawl, man. Yep. Go off the air with the whole locker room trying to break them up, and that is how we'll end the long list of shows we just covered. We did it, man.
So many shows, my God. But
July 4th, man, for America.
It was for America.
We wrestle.
You wrestle for America. That's not the end yet.
Yeah, before we head out, to end this fun episode, we have look at a few honorable mentions I pulled from the web that we didn't cover here, and just kind of look at some other cool things that happened on this day. On this day.
All right,
1983. WCCW Independence Day Star Wars was held in Fort Worth, Texas. On the show, David Von Erich defeated Jimmy Garvin to become the WCC Texas Heavyweight Champion.
And they didn't get in legal trouble?
No.
Okay.
And here's my thing. When I first, about a month ago, started this project, I asked the internet to kind of see if I could get some footage on these first two events, these WCCW events, because I really wanted them for my own sake. Not even so much to throw them in this episode. Can you imagine this episode if I tried to do these two?
No.
Please. But I wanted it, especially for this reason right here. 1984 WCC Independence Day Star Wars was held in Fort Worth. And again, you can see this is an event that only happens on July 4th in Fort Worth, Texas. Opening match, Iceman King Parsons defeated Bill Irwin in a singles match to win the WCC American Tag Team titles for himself and Buck Zumhofe that beat my uncle, or tagged with him.
Yep.
All right, 86 WCWA Independence Day Star Wars was held in Dallas, Texas. On the show, Buzz Sawyer defeated Brian Adias for the WCC Texas Heavyweight Championship. Abdullah the Butcher,
let's go,
won the WCCW Brass Knuckles title in a match against the Great Kabuki. And then later in the show, Chris Adams beat Rick Rude for the WCCW Heavyweight title.
A lot of big names here.
Okay, here's the big one. This is the big one that everybody's gonna be like, you got to make sure you cover that one in there. 87 NWA Great American Bash, held at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, and is notable for the debut of the War Games match created by Dusty Rhodes.
Let's go.
The match, and I actually have this match in my computer. Fun fact.
Yes, he does.
We can watch it sometime. The match, inspired by the film Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, usually involves two teams of wrestlers that enter a steel cage that surround two rings. Two start off inside the structure with alternating tag teammates allowed in certain intervals, and is won by a single pinfall or submission. In the main event of the show, the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk,
what a rush.
Nikita Koloff, Dusty Rhodes, and Paul Ellering defeated the Four Horsemen, Flair, Anderson, Luger, Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon in a War Games match. Reading that made me have to pee so bad.
Was Ellering actually in the match, or was he just accompanying them?
I guess he was just accompanying them. I don't know why reading that just made my bladder have to go so bad. It's like all those words just made me have to pee.
I thought it was the what a rush
No.
comment.
1993, Lex Luger arrived by helicopter and landed aboard the USS Intrepid battleship in New York City. The reason? He was answering the challenge set by the 627-pound Yokozuna that no one could body slam him. Wrestlers and sports stars alike lined to lift the big man. Rick and Scott Steiner, Tatanka, Crush, Randy Savage, as well as NBA players Scott Burrell, Bill Fralick of the Detroit Lions, and Joe Morris and Peter. I can't say that name. Why did you use "and" twice right there?
What did you use, Antoine?
I have to read it, but I'm not the one who wrote that. This is not. I did not write this. Sorry, no literary issues. Okay, that guy played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. All tried and failed. Just as it looked like Yoko had the challenge won, Luger arrived and checked out the Stars and Stripes. Hit Yoko with his steel plate-infused forearm, hoisted him up, and slammed him to the canvas. USA! Alright, you do 97. I'm peeing.
Alright,
He's nuts me,
1997. APW Catfight was held in Hayward, California. And the main event, Michael Modest defeated Donovan Morgan to take the APW Universal Heavyweight Championship. Wow, okay. For America. Also in 1997, at CMLL Super Viernes in Mexico City, Mexico, Felino beat El Hijo del Santo in a 2 out of 3 falls match to win the WWA World Welterweight title. Wow, this does get hard reading these. El Hijo del Santo. Why does that sound familiar? Who knows? 2000, 3 years. Wow. WWF SmackDown was taped at the National Car Rental Center in Sunrise, Florida. Oh my God.
For America!
Don't make me read this.
I wanted to try and cover that SmackDown. I couldn't because it didn't have it on Peacock. But
Val Venus became the Intercontinental Champion when he defeated Rikishi.
he didn't do that. That didn't actually happen.
Sick.
We don't have proof that it happened.
Yep, we don't have proof, guys. Sorry.
2005, Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels defeated Carlito and Angle in the main event of Raw. We covered that. Following the match, Michaels hit Hogan with a sweet chin music to turn heel. Set up what would become the infamous Icon versus Icon. Man, whoever wrote these were just watching this show before it happened. Alright, in the main event of don't make me do it again. WWE ECW show. The Big Show defeated Rob Van Dam to become the ECW champion and the first person to have held the WWF, WCW, and ECW World Championship titles.
Why?
Alright, here comes some fun ones. 2010, Day 9 of AJPW All Japan crossover was held in Osaka, Japan, and the penultimate match, thank you, of the night, Akebono and Taiokia beat Ryota
Hama
this, man.
and Suwama
Thank you. That's why
to win the AJPW World Tag Team title. Even
I know, but you did better than I could.
Is that the same Akebono that's the sumo wrestler?
I believe so.
Wow, okay, let's go.
Now, New Japan. Alright. Road Day 4 was in Tokyo, Japan. In the main event of the show, Kushida won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title when he beat Kota Ibushi.
That sounds like a banger of a match.
Kushida. Kota Ibushi. I wouldn't pick Kota Ibushi to lose that match, but it is what it is. Skip over the Beast in the East. It was too boring to go over twice. Now, 2017, Bar Wrestling 2, Independence Day.
I want to mention, this isn't Independence, it's
Independence.
TS.
Yeah. It's because they're the Independents, and they're bar wrestling.
It's so good.
Independence Day was held at the American Legion Post number 241 in Baldwin Park, California. On the show, Joey Ryan defeated Laura James to win the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal title. I don't even know. I'm going to go watch this. I'm going to watch that event after this is over.
Yeah.
Bar Wrestling 2. What happened to Bar Wrestling 1?
They didn't.
We don't just set the bar.
We
don't just raise the bar. We are the bar.
Hell yeah.
Notable wrestling birthdays. Alpha Kevin, Joey Janela, Barry Windham.
Joey Janela's in some shit right now.
Is he? What'd he do this time?
Yeah, homophobic comments.
Come on, Joey, get your shit together.
But hey, Barry Windham was a good one.
Yeah, that's a solid one for America. This was a 2-hour episode for America, and you know what? I knew it would be. I kind of already knew it would be.
It was worth it. For America.
It's worth it for America. America.